Hi everyone and welcome to this video about Oppenheimer, the latest film from acclaimed director Christopher Nolan. Oppenheimer is a biopic about J. Robert Oppenheimer, the scientist who led the Manhattan Project, which developed the atomic bomb. The film has been praised for its acting, directing and cinematography, and it's already a box office success. In this video, we'll take a look at some of the film's trivia and some behind-the-scenes facts you may or may not know. Let me know in the comments how many of these pieces of trivia you knew already, and let me know any other facts about the film that I haven't included in this video. Let's begin. Oppenheimer was adapted from the book American Prometheus, written by Kay Bird and Martin J. Sherwin. Christopher Nolan said he had known about the story of J. Robert Oppenheimer, but was intrigued more by the story when he found out that the scientists on the project feared the first test of the atomic bomb could potentially cause a chain reaction and burn all the oxygen in the atmosphere, thus wiping out all life on Earth. When showing off the first footage for Oppenheimer at CinemaCon, Christopher Nolan said, "Like it or not, J. Robert Oppenheimer is the most important person who ever lived. He made the world we live in, for better or for worse." The director also said that "I know of no other story with higher stakes." Oppenheimer was shot on IMAX 65mm large format film. The IMAX film prints for Oppenheimer are 11 miles long and weigh 600 pounds. The film has a runtime of 3 hours and 9 seconds. Christopher Nolan also wanted to shoot IMAX scenes in black and white and not convert it in post. Kodak had to specially engineer and create film stock for Christopher Nolan to shoot his IMAX scenes in black and white. Oppenheimer is Christopher Nolan's first movie with the film studio Universal. Nolan had previously worked for Warner Brothers exclusively since Insomnia back in 2002. Christopher Nolan walked away from Warner Brothers after they announced that film releases would be available to stream on HBO Max the same day as the cinema release. Nolan, who is very protective of the cinema-going experience, slammed Warner Brothers for this and announced he was looking for a new studio to produce his next movie. Nolan ended up going to Universal, who gave him a $100 million budget, a 100-day release window in cinemas, a 6-week blackout period where Universal would not release another film in cinemas, and a 20% cut of the film's first dollar gross. Warner Brothers was set to release Barbie the same day as Oppenheimer, reportedly as a revenge tactic against Christopher Nolan after he left their studio. Despite some clear competition between the two movies, fans embraced a craze called Barbenheimer, in which they would go to watch both films as a double bill. Barbie has been a bigger box office draw, however, Oppenheimer has been able to break several records at the box office. This includes becoming the highest grossing World War II movie, as well as the highest grossing movie to never be number one at the box office. To date, Oppenheimer is Christopher Nolan's longest running film, which runs at 180 minutes. Interstellar held the previous record for Nolan, running at 169 minutes. Breaking the traditional screenplay formula, Christopher Nolan wrote the Oppenheimer screenplay in first person, from the point of view of J. Robert Oppenheimer. Matt Damon and Robert Downey Jr. praised the script's first-person perspective and said of the script, "It's in the first person, which I'd never seen before, so rather than say Oppenheimer crosses the room, it says I walk across the room, in the present tense. It has that visceral effect on you, it pulls you right in, which is the point. It's trying to tell his readers this is the feel of the movie. It's got to go through the subjective lens of this character." Many moviegoers have commented on Christopher Nolan's previous films, including on Oppenheimer, that it is sometimes hard to hear the dialogue spoken by the actors. Nolan has revealed why this may be. Usually films go through automated dialogue replacement, where actors re-record their dialogue in a studio to have the audio be clean for the edit. Nolan stated he doesn't use ADR because he likes to use the audio from the original performance. Nolan stated, "I like to use the performance that was given in the moment rather than the actor revoice it later," which is an artistic choice that some people disagree with, and that's their right. Cillian Murphy has starred in 5 previous Christopher Nolan films, with Oppenheimer being his 6th collaboration with the director, and Oppenheimer is the first time Cillian Murphy has played the lead actor in one of Christopher Nolan's films. Murphy has previously appeared in Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, Inception, The Dark Knight Rises, and Dunkirk. Oppenheimer also sees Nolan collaborate once again with many actors he has worked with before. This includes Kenneth Branagh, who plays Niels Bohr, having starred in Dunkirk and Tenet; James D'Arcy, who plays Patrick Blackett, starred in Dunkirk; Gary Oldman, who plays President Harry S. Truman, had starred in Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises; Matt Damon, who plays Leslie Groves, had starred in Interstellar; Matthew Modine, who plays Vannevar Bush, starred in The Dark Knight Rises; Casey Affleck, who plays Boris Pash, had starred in Interstellar; Tom Conti, who plays Albert Einstein, starred in The Dark Knight Rises; and David Dastmalchian, who plays William Borden, had appeared in The Dark Knight. Despite Christopher Nolan collaborating with many actors, one actor who Nolan frequently works with was absent from the film. Actor Sir Michael Caine, who has appeared in every movie Christopher Nolan has directed since Batman Begins, was absent from the movie. Michael Caine didn't appear on screen in Dunkirk, but he did have a voice-over role as Fortis leader, but was uncredited in that film. Oppenheimer sees Christopher Nolan collaborate for the first time with actor Josh Hartnett. However, Nolan and Hartnett almost collaborated on Batman Begins back in 2005. Hartnett was in the running to play Bruce Wayne in the movie and was said to be one of the 3 finalists for the role. Hartnett lost out to Christian Bale. Almost 20 years later, Hartnett was cast as Ernest Lawrence and would get to work with Nolan finally. Matt Damon revealed he was set to take some time off from acting before being cast in Oppenheimer. Damon revealed in an interview that he promised that he would take time off from acting to his wife, with the exception that if Christopher Nolan called him to offer a role, he would take it. Damon was cast as Leslie Groves in the movie. Oppenheimer is Christopher Nolan's first biopic, but in the early 2000s, Nolan had planned to make a biopic about Howard Hughes, with Jim Carrey starring in the lead role. However, Nolan ended up scrapping this movie because of the Martin Scorsese film The Aviator. Nolan has said he may direct a Hughes biopic one day, however. During the UK premiere of Oppenheimer, the Screen Actors Guild of America Federation of Television and Radio Artists called a strike which led to the actors leaving the premiere. Under their union regulations, during a strike, actors cannot promote movies they've been in or even attend film premieres. Cillian Murphy, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr. and Florence Pugh all left when the strike was called. Nolan ended up introducing the movie on his own and revealed that the actors had left the premiere as the strike had been called, stating, "Unfortunately, they're off to write their picket signs for what we believe to be an imminent strike by SAG, joining one of my guilds, the Writers Guild, in the struggle for fair wages for working members of unions, and we support them." Directors Sam Mendes and Oliver Stone had previously looked at adapting American Prometheus into a movie. Sam Mendes was initially set to work on the project after his movie Jarhead back in 2005. Oliver Stone ended up watching the movie and giving it high praise, calling it a new classic. Writer and director Paul Schrader also praised the film, telling audiences if they see one movie this year, they should see Oppenheimer. Robert Downey Jr. claims that Oppenheimer is the best film he has ever appeared in, and that he was worried that acting in Marvel films for so long would have a negative impact on his acting abilities. There is currently early buzz around Robert Downey Jr.'s performance, with many predicting he will be nominated for an Academy Award in the Best Supporting Actor category. The film score does not feature any drums because director Christopher Nolan and composer Ludwig Göransson felt that using a sound typically associated with the military would be an inauthentic way to musically capture the character of J. Robert Oppenheimer. Cillian Murphy revealed that Oppenheimer was shot in less than 2 months. Murphy stated, "The sets are huge, but it feels like being on an independent movie. There's just Chris and the cameraman, one camera always, unless there's some huge set piece, and the boom op, and that's it. There's no video village, there's no monitors, nothing. He's a very analog filmmaker." The film was completed in 57 days, whereas Christopher Nolan's previous movie, Tenet, took 96 days to shoot. Actress Emily Blunt revealed that her co-star Cillian Murphy only ate an almond a day in order to lose weight for the role. She stated he had such a monumental undertaking, and he could only eat like an almond every day. He was also emaciated. Murphy said that, "I love acting with my body. Oppenheimer had a very distinct physicality and silhouette, which I wanted to get right. I had to lose quite a bit of weight, and we worked with the costume and tailoring. He was very slim, almost emaciated, existed on martinis and cigarettes." Despite committing to the transformation, Murphy doesn't recommend the almond-a-day diet. J. Robert Oppenheimer was mentioned in Christopher Nolan's previous movie, Tenet. During a scene between the protagonist and Priya, it is mentioned that during the Manhattan Project, J. Robert Oppenheimer feared the atomic bomb test could destroy the Earth. Cinematographer Hoyt van Hoytema revealed in an interview that working on Oppenheimer was one of the freest productions he and Christopher Nolan had ever made. Not a single frame of the movie was storyboarded, and they would shoot as few takes as possible. James Remar, who plays US Secretary of War Henry Stimson, improvised a line from doing his own research on the character. During the scene where the US is deciding which Japanese cities they should use the atomic bomb on, Stimson says they should cross Kyoto off the list because of its historical and cultural significance. Remar added the line about Stimson not wanting to bomb Kyoto because it was where he and his wife honeymooned to before the war. Before the Trinity test is shown on screen, we see Oppenheimer and Groves talking in a bunker. Oppenheimer says they'll know if the bomb is successful in 1 hour and 58 minutes. We see the detonation of the Trinity test bomb at exactly 1 hour and 58 minutes into the movie. I hope you have enjoyed this video about Oppenheimer, the latest film from acclaimed director Christopher Nolan. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.